Hi, so today I want to do a video on how to avoid putting things off, how to get rid of procrastination. I don't think this has as much to do with discipline as it does to do with a mindset, and I want to talk about why that is. Now, on this channel, I've made a couple of older videos on the idea that adults don't understand how to motivate or educate children. I also did a video on why I think kids hate reading and why I think adults are at fault in a large part for that. Now, in those videos, I discussed concepts like, adults will just tell kids, do this because. They don't care if you're interested. They don't care if you're engaged. They don't care if it's relevant. It's just, do this because I said so, even if it doesn't have particular meaning to you. And one example that I remember was spelling homework. Spelling homework was some of the most mundane crap I had to do as a kid. There was this idea that even if I knew how to spell the word, if I spelled it properly in my science project, I spelled it properly in my book report, I spelled it properly in my current events homework, that it just randomly came up that this is the word that we're going to do for spelling homework, and I'd have to write the word over 200 or 300 times, and that would help you to become good at spelling it. It seemed like a pretty mundane, crappy task to do. So I would get home, and it would be time to do my spelling homework, and I'd watch TV. Or I'd ride my bike outside, or I'd play a video game, or I would talk to someone on the phone, and my parents would say, Louis, did you do your spelling homework? And I would say, I'll do it in a minute, or I'll get there in half an hour, I'll get it done. That's procrastination. That's putting something off. So let's analyze what went on in that moment for a second. I was told that I had to do something. I had to do a lot of work that's going to hurt my hand. I'm going to write this stupid word 200 or 300 times. It has no meaning whatsoever. I already know how to spell the word. And I'm told I have to do that 200 or 300 times. I have to do it. If I don't do it, that homework, my parents will yell, they will scream, I will have to repeat the assignment in school. If I miss enough homework, I'll have to repeat the grade. I'll never get out of school. I have to do it. There's just no question. I am a peon, like in Warcraft 2. That was one of my favorite games as a kid. Remember the little guys that had to run over and, if you right-click, get gold from here, build me my blacksmith, chop down the tree for me. You're a peon, which is pretty much a slave. I was their peon. I had to do whatever the teacher said, regardless of whether it made any sense. So my way of gaining back my freedom in some small way, shape, or form was procrastination. That was my defense mechanism. That was my way of asserting, yes, you have authority over me. You can tell me to do whatever bullshit you want me to do, and I just have to do it. But in some small way, I am still a free man because I can at least set when I'm going to do it. You're going to tell me that I have to do this miserable work, but I'm going to do it on my schedule. I'm going to do it a half hour from now. I'll do it an hour from now. Or if I'm in school and I'm writing, I might just write really, really slow. And everybody in the class might do the assignment really slow so that we don't have time to get to the next assignment before the bell rings. That's procrastination. And the way that we respond to being given these peon-like tasks is with procrastination. So once we're enlightened into understanding that procrastination is not a symptom of laziness, but rather a declaration of our freedom, an assertion that, no, I am not going to do exactly the BS that you tell me to do at exactly the time that you say, because I am not a slave. I am a free man. Once we establish that procrastination is our natural response to feeling like a peon, it's our way of pushing back and fighting back against an oppressor, now we have to start asking the right questions. The wrong question is, how do I stop being lazy? Because I don't see procrastination, I don't see putting things off as laziness. I see it as our natural response to oppression. So the right question to then ask is, why do I feel oppressed? Why am I not a free man? If I am a free man, why don't I feel like a free man? Because if we try to fix laziness, if we're not lazy, and the problem is that we are not free, then we're chasing the wrong problem, and we're never going to fix it. So let me now give you the secret to never procrastinating or putting something off again. A kitty cat. Hi, Blackberry. Who's trying to climb up on the chair while I'm doing a video? It's a kitty cat. That's the secret. She's so cute. I'm debating whether or not to edit this out. Show your face on camera, girl. Aww. The actual secret to overcoming putting things off and procrastination permanently listen closely, is to understand that you are a free man or a free woman. You are free. You can do whatever you want. You're no longer a child. You're not in an abusive relationship, and if you are, you should leave it. And this is no longer fourth grade. You can do whatever you want. If there's an opportunity that you want to take, but it requires quitting your job with no notice, you can do that. You may not be able to put that in your resume as a reference, but you can do that. You don't have to go to work tomorrow. If you don't go to work tomorrow, you won't get paid for that day. And you'll have to figure out how to feed yourself and pay your rent and pay your expenses without that day's money. But you don't have to go to work tomorrow. You can drop out of school. If you drop out of school, you won't finish and you won't get a diploma. It may be more difficult to get jobs that require a diploma. But you don't have to go to school. You can drop out of school. I can stop making YouTube videos. If I stop making YouTube videos, I'll lose my following, maybe lose a little bit of business, stop making money off YouTube. But I don't have to make a single YouTube video. As a boss and a business owner, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. In fact, I don't have to go to work for the next year. I may still make money. Morale may go down. Things may start occurring that are just small screw-ups or small conflicts that arise into big problems. But I don't have to go to work for the next entire year. I can do whatever I want. I'm a free man. It's my choice. It's my decision to make. There may be consequences to the decision, but everything is a decision. And once you realize that you are free, once you realize that you can do whatever you want, it becomes so much easier to not put anything off. The reason that we are not free, the reason we don't feel free, is because we tell ourselves all these things that we have to do. I have to do this or that will happen. I have to do this because you don't understand. This is what I'm in right now. This is the situation. This is what I need. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to get that college degree. You don't need to impress that boss. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. All I want you to do is sit there and think about what you would do if you were completely free. And I want you to feel that feeling. I want you to feel that feeling come over you of not being a peon. I want you to stop treating yourself the way a fourth grade teacher would treat yourself and start treating yourself the way you deserve to be treated. Start treating yourself like an adult. And what happens when you have that freedom of realizing that everything is a choice, it's so much easier to not put anything off ever again. I remember when I was younger, somewhere around 10 years, 10, 11, wow, I'm getting old. 10, 11 years ago, I wanted to be a recording engineer, and I also wanted to do repairs of equipment for recording studios. I kept saying, I'm going to get an internship. I'm going to get an internship. I'm going to get an internship. I'm going to get into that business. I'm going to get an internship. I never did it. I had a job. So one day, I quit the job. I just stopped going to work. I didn't care. That was one of the first jobs that I had ever had. One of the first jobs I ever had at Modell Sporting Goods. I said, fuck this. I'm not going to work anymore. I'm done. I put in my 2 weeks, and then I was so excited about what I wanted to do with my life that I didn't even finish the 2 weeks. I had a truck shift on a Thursday or Friday. They were being assholes about the heating. They had a heating issue where there was, not a heating issue, an air conditioning issue where there was no air conditioning, and they had this aluminum roof. And you're wearing a polyester jersey, and they were complaining that I opened the buttons in the polyester jersey. I had a cotton shirt underneath. So I just fucking left. And I pursued what I wanted to do. Because what happened is I went home, and I sat there, and I'm like, crap. Well, I have money saved, but I have things I have to pay. How am I going to do that? But I don't have to have a job. If I don't pay this stuff, then the services and the things that I had may be taken away, but I don't have to. I just sat in that chair and I realized that I didn't have to do anything that I didn't want to, that I was completely free to make my own decisions. And I found an internship. And it was a few months before I stopped getting paid in food and started getting paid in money, less money than I made at Modell's, which is really, really hard to do in 2006, 2007. But I did. And I worked at that place. I worked at 2 different studios primarily, and I had a couple of other freelance jobs on the side, but I worked at these 2 places primarily. And one of them was a really, really famous studio called Avatar Studios. And I saw myself putting off certain things that I wanted to do. And the coworkers that I had, they were the best people in the world, but some of them were just, they were getting to the end of their career and they weren't exactly happy with it. And everybody was so surprised that I was able to make it in here as like a 17 or an 18-year-old kid. Like I was the only person there that was that young that had a job, much less an internship. And everybody said, that's the right track. That's what you're supposed to do. And I quit. It's funny, I quit with notice, and I actually wound up getting fired after quitting with notice because I feel like I was one of the only interns in 30 years or the only employees that actually just quit to say, it's not that I got a better opportunity. I don't even have an opportunity. I just, I want to do something else with my life kind of thing. They weren't used to hearing that. But I just left. And I went on to do some of the things I wanted to do. Now, at another business that I was working at, there was this guy. He was a really nice business owner, very nice guy, but he didn't maintain any of his business. He just didn't seem to care. He didn't care if things worked. He didn't care if clients paid on time. He didn't care if clients paid at all. And I saw this business that had such potential to make money, even if it's not as much money as it used to make. It had such potential to make money without having to do any work, and it just made me sick that it wasn't reaching its full potential. So I said, I bet I can do better than this. I bet I can run a business and I can have the life that this guy has, but I can do it better. And I was, some snot-nosed 19-year-old at the time, but I thought that, and I wanted to put my money where my mouth is. And what did I do? I put it off. Every day I put it off. And then it got to a point where he was going to move to another place, and the place that he was at was probably going to go out of business, and he was going to move to another place. And at that point, I just stopped going to work. I just stopped. Now, I'm not going to make money. I'm back where I was 2.5 years ago. I don't have any money left. I am not making money. Oh, shit. This is around the end of 2008. But again, I am a free man. So I come home, I sit in my chair, and I think to myself, if I don't go to work, I don't get money. Okay, but it's my choice whether or not I go to work, right? If I don't make money, how am I going to pay for food, this, that, and the other? But it's my choice to not go to work, right? Because I am a free man. So what did I do? I stopped procrastinating. I stopped saying, someday I'm going to make a business. I realized my freedom, and that day I decided I'm going to open a business. Let's buy crap on eBay. Oh, it's such a fucking bad idea. But I'm going to buy stuff that's broken on eBay and see if I can make it work again. Bad business. I needed a laptop for the studio while it was closing. I bought one, it came broken, and then I figured, let me see if I can actually start a business doing this because of the price differences. It was a bad idea. Sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. But I thought, hey, let me offer this service to other people. Basic, simple crap that I thought would fail because so many other people would be able to do it better than I did. And it grew. And I wound up making something like $300 a week, then $400 a week, then $500 a week, then $600 a week, then $700 a week. And eventually, I got to a point while I was in college, after quitting that business, where I noticed, spending time in college, but my business keeps making more money. I'd really like to put time into promoting my business properly. I'd really like to have a website that's not a green background and a table with prices that I made in Microsoft Word with text with my phone number on the bottom. I think I could do a lot better if it wasn't in text, a completely text website with a green backdrop and a Microsoft Word table. I'm going to do better than that. And I didn't. In March, I didn't do better than that. In April, I didn't do better than that. In May, I didn't do better than that. I kept saying I would. Nope. I was going to college at the time. And one day, I just didn't show up for chemistry. And it was actually the day of the chemistry final. And it's kind of a stupid thing to not show up for. You took chemistry for several months. It was hard. What happened is I just decided to stop. I just didn't go. And it was a stupid thing to do at the time. Everybody I knew said, this is a stupid thing to do. You've been taking chemistry this entire time. You've been studying for it this entire time. Just go take the final. Just go take the final. Even if you don't go back to college, you'll have chemistry, right? I didn't go to the final. That day, I decided to help somebody set up a mix room. I decided to work on my website. I decided to work on my promotion and cross-posting ads on different websites. I decided to organize my inventory. I didn't go because I didn't want to put even one day of time into being a slave anymore. I didn't want to put one more day in as a peon going to LaGuardia Community College when I could spend that day on my business. It made me so sick to think that I was taking a chemistry final on Wednesday and I'm going to work on my business on Thursday. That made me sick to my stomach. I needed to work on my business today, even if it meant that I had to cut my losses on the last 2 months. I did it. Made sense. And when I look back on how people with, again, liberal arts degrees are doing right now, and I look at the jobs that people are applying for with college and how little it means to employers, and I look at my current salary, I look back on that decision and how stupid and silly it felt at the time and how people were chastising me for it. And now I look at it like, you know what? It kind of makes sense that I made the decision to be a free man. If I had not made that decision to be a free man, something may have changed. I may have said tomorrow I'm going to do it, but tomorrow I may have registered for another class or done something else. You can never know. So for me, I always stop putting things off when I alleviate myself of all responsibility. I'll find new responsibility. But when I alleviate myself of the responsibilities that I'm just doing just because, I find that I'm finally free to accept responsibility that I actually want, if that makes any sense. And this happened again sometime in 2014. I spent 12 hours a day at work. I was constantly working. I was constantly managing, dealing with customers, fixing stuff. I still had, did I still have, crap, I can't believe I forget. I forget if I still had the supply company at the time. But I was still wholesaling and selling and dealing with other clients, and there was this one company that was putting screens into this medical device that I was buying, and they had all these strange, odd quotes that needed to be done really quickly at all times of the day. Hi, Blackberry. I wish people could see this. My cat is so cute. You gonna stay on my lap if I raise the chair, girl? There we go. Now we have Kitty in the shot. Good girl. Anyway, where was I with that? Oh yeah, I had all this work, and I kept saying that I was tired of dealing with the place that I was dealing with for board repairs. They screwed things up. Sometimes they would take too long. Sometimes they would give you the runaround, and the guy was so nice. He was such a nice guy. And that was the problem, because it made him that much harder to stop doing business with when he would do stupid shit, because he was such a nice guy. I always said I wanted to do the board repairs myself. And in 2010, I put it off. 11, I put it off. 12, I put it off. 13, I put it off. I did basic ones, but I didn't do the really difficult ones. In 2014, I just decided, no, screw this. So what led up to that was me going on a almost 1 month long vacation. I went to Kansas, I went to Wisconsin, I went somewhere else, and I just didn't care about work. I had that conversation with myself. If I don't go to work, that thing may not get done. Yeah, but oh well. That client who's used to dealing with you, who buys a lot of stuff, may not be happy and he may not do business and you may lose that money. Yeah, but I'm free, so I'm going to go and leave. And I just left. And I came back 3 weeks later or a month later, a completely free person. And that whole undertaking of being able to get good enough at board repair that I figure out what's wrong with most boards over the internet without having to measure them or anything like that began. That journey to become that person began. I sat down at work for 12 hours a day and started working towards that instead of working towards the things I was working towards before. And it really, really worked. And I just look at all the times in my life that I had these pivotal moments of change where things just snapped and made sense, where I made decisions that led me to the next thing that I was supposed to do. And it all started with the realization that I'm free and that I can do whatever I want. And when I sit down and I realize that I can do whatever I want, it just becomes easy to stop putting things off. As soon as I stop treating myself like a slave, the action that I want to take becomes natural. It's no longer like doing the spelling homework. Because when you become a free person, you have no reason to procrastinate. Procrastination is our natural response to oppression. Once you take away your own worst oppressor, which is yourself, then you have no reason to put anything off. Once you understand that we put things off in response to oppression from authority figures, and once you accept the fact that you have become one of those oppressive authority figures in your own life, you now have all the tools you need to fix the problem, to stop putting things off that you want to do, and to stop procrastinating. Stop going to school, stop doing this at work, stop dealing with whatever it is you're dealing with that you don't want to deal with, that you're only dealing with because a guidance counselor told you to do it, that you're doing because you feel guilty, because your parents want you to do this or that or the other. Stop. Sit back. Realize I don't even have to leave my house tomorrow if I don't want to. I can sit in this chair all day. I can sit in this park all day. Well, if it rains, I'll get wet. but I'll get wet. I have the freedom to sit in the park and do that. Once you realize that you have the freedom to do whatever you want and that everything in your life is a decision that you make, everything is a choice that you consciously make for yourself, not the fourth grade teacher, not your parents, not your angry significant other, but you're free. And once you're free, you're not going to have this urge to put things off anymore. So start asking yourself the right questions. What do I have to do to become free? What do I have to do to feel free? What do I have to do to overcome oppression in my life? Clear your mind of all of this responsibility that you believe has to exist that doesn't have to exist. And what you'll find is you're going to stop putting off doing the things that you want to do. Now, I'm not suggesting that you actually sit home every single day. I'm not suggesting that you never go to work, that you never go to school, that you never try to do something that's worthwhile, that you actually sit in the park in the rain all day. All I'm saying is that it is a good exercise to actually do that, to understand that you can do that and that you're still breathing, you're still alive. You haven't been crushed. The sky is not falling. It's an exercise to realize that all of these things that you've told yourself you have to do, you actually don't have to do. All of this responsibility that you've burdened yourself with because of parents, because of guilt, because of society, because of guidance counselors, is all crap that you didn't have to burden yourself with. And once you take away the burden of the responsibility that you don't have to have, once you stop living your life as a peon or a slave, what you will do is stop putting off the things that you truly want to do. And once you start doing what you truly want to do, you will start to gain the responsibility that actually matters. You will have to leave your house, but it will be to do something that you actually want to do. There will be no procrastination. You start filling your life with the responsibility of running a business that you enjoy rather than taking a chemistry final that you don't want to take, and see where it takes you. Live your life as a free man or a free woman because you only get one of them. And if you don't live it, someday you're gonna be at a point where there's no more procrastination because there's no more tomorrow. And that would be a real fucking shame. So start asking yourself the right questions now. Am I free? Why don't I feel free? What steps do I have to take to become free? The things that you were put on this earth to accomplish, they're just going to start accomplishing themselves. And you're just going to see your hands moving. You're going to see your body walking out the door to just do all the stuff that just yesterday you were procrastinating. Because that's the difference between being a peon and being a free man. The free man goes out and does what he's supposed to. The peon puts it off because he's oppressed. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something.